Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my friend Cindy King. Good morning. Oh my goodness. So, weather's been a little up and down around here. today, today, after a couple of weeks of no snow, we have about 3 inches of snow out there. Can you imagine? Oh, yeah, there's that storm that came up from the southwest and came north and went over. Good morning, Jesse. Good morning. Good morning. It's just talking about the weather. Oh, my goodness. My brother. Good morning, Debbie. Debbie's here too. Good morning. So, my brother, who lives with us, my husband and myself, we have a full decked out apartment in the basement. So I laugh and tell people that my brother lives in the basement. So, anyways, one of the things that he does is he takes care of the snow removal in the driveway. Well, he thought for sure that it was time to put the snowblower away. So he did. And now there's like 3 inches of snow out there. It's beautiful, though. It's beautiful. You know, that big, heavy, wet snow that kind of just lingers on the trees and just kind of, it's beautiful. So, what are we going to talk about today? Oh, I know. We are going to talk about embroidery machines. Not my embroidery machines, though I've had quite a few in my, no, gosh, how long has it been? I don't even know how long it's been. Good morning, Barb. Good morning. Yeah, Cindy, I'm not a cold weather person either. You don't see me out there. Um, so we're going to talk about embroidery machines. I've been getting a lot of questions this week about different embroidery machines, their performance, what to look for, um, price points, and I can tell them my experience, but I thought it would be helpful for the community out there to hear your experience. Now, I realize that you guys are not live in studio, though that can be arranged should you decide you want to. Um, so it's going to require some typing, but here's what I want to ask. I want to ask um, what machines you have run or are running now. Would you change anything if you had it to do over again? And maybe just not a pinpoint exact dollar value, but um, maybe a price point. Was it $10,000? Was it $15,000? Was it over $20,000? Um, so that's what I want to do. I'm going to start by giving you just a brief history of my machine experience. Um, I started out years ago with a home, brother home 4x4. No, actually, it did stitch a 5x7 machine. Really cute. Got me started. The work that I did on that actually bought a used brother 6 needle, which it was used. Um, had some issues. First thing, it's one of the things that I learned. Um, when you're buying used, be prepared to make an immediate expense for service and maintenance and possibly repair. Just comes with the territory, right? You buy used equipment. And I sat with this machine and the previous owner, and we went through all the functions, and we stitched a couple of designs, but it turned out that the main shaft was bent, and at some point it seized up. So, again, just be prepared. If you're going to buy used, make sure you get a good price. Make sure that you understand there may be some immediate need for maintenance or repair. Okay, so after that, I went and bought another flatbed machine. When I say flatbed, I'm talking about the ones that sit on your table and look like a standard sewing machine, but have an embroidery arm. Um, I bought top of the line brother um, embroidery machine. Now I'm a deal finder, so um, I did not pay full retail for that machine. I bought the demo, which cut the price about in half. Some of those top of the line home machines can be as much, if not more, than your commercial multi needle, depending on where you go. Oh, here, Barb says that she uses an Advance machine, which is a private label of Racoma. She purchased it through Coldesi. Um, Her dual Advance. When you say dual, are you saying two heads on the one machine? Um, was 18,000 in 2008. They also flew a tech up for 2 days training included in the price. That's awesome. That's what I want to see. Now, Barb, regarding your machine, knowing what you know now, you've had it for a few years. Is there anything you would have done differently in making the decision for this purchase? And she agrees. The dual head is a two head on one machine. Um, so while you guys are going on with that, uh, let's see. Oh, what does this say? She has one dual headed Bonse and two single needle 1501s. All are networked, even though I use a USB most of the time. Networked, they're all connected, so you could run all four heads with one design at the same time. That is interesting. That's very interesting. You still have the capability of stitching independent design files, but if I'm reading this right, when necessary, you can link all four heads and run the same design for larger production. So, going back, I decided at some point um, that I needed a second machine. So silly me, not even looking at multi needle machines, I bought another top of the line brother, and it seized up. So I went racing around and trying to find a tech to fix it because had a job to do, and went to a Husqvarna Viking tech. Who? Good morning. Oh, good afternoon, Frank. Is that you? Afternoon. Afternoon. Barb says yes, that the only thing she would have done differently in her purchase was to buy the two singles first and then the dual head. But she says it all worked out in the end. And yes, you can run them all at once if necessary. That's that's not bad. Um, so went running around, was introduced to this Viking machine, and then I was so amazed by its stitch quality that I sold my brothers and bought Vikings. And at some point, I got smart and decided, all the money I put in these flatbed machines, maybe I should think about a multi-needle machine. So my first commercial multi needle machine, 3 in the afternoon. That's about nap time over here. Just saying. But thank you for being here. My first commercial multi needle machine was a Chinese made machine. And um, and I'm not knocking that. If that's what your budget is, that's what your budget is. The thing you need to learn is that the production can be extremely great on one day and not so great the next day. So, the next build day. So one day you may get a wonderful machine. The other day you you might get a machine that's not quite uh, built the same way. One more comment from Barb here. Customer service price training has been awesome with Coldesi. My issues are usually operator error. We all do it. We do. So if your budget is around $10,000, you're going to be looking at a used machine or possibly a Chinese made machine, and that's okay. You're going to learn machine maintenance. I mean, we all need to know machine maintenance for any machine that we buy, but you might need a little bit. You might need a little bit. You might get a little bit more experience with the Chinese machines. But here's the thing: whatever your budget is, whatever machine you buy, you're going to work with what you have. All right. Whether it's a Chinese made, Japanese made, the Korean machines, um, the ZSK made in Germany, German engineering. It's very, very good. Um, but you're going to work with what you've got. And don't let anyone discourage you with the machine that you have. If your customer service is, if your machine vendor, the company you buy the machine from, is not as available as they should be, then seek out other sources. Okay, so going back to that budget machine, remember, a budget machine is budget for a reason. Its price point is lower for a reason. Just like anything that needs to be built, there are minimum specs with regards to the parts and how it's built. To cut cost, a budget machine is going to work within those minimum specs. It may not have the same strength or durability in its parts that a machine up the price point a bit more is going to have. The software may not have the same precision in its pathing. Might be a few extra steps involved. But again, you're going to work with what you have. The next the next and the Chinese made machines, you can get those for anywhere from well, depending on which machine you're looking at. I've seen some that are under $5,000 and up to around $10,000 to $11,000. One of the things that I learned years ago is that it can be about $1,000 a needle. I don't know if that helps. I don't know how true that is since COVID, but about $1,000 a needle. And then of course, the reputation of the manufacturer will increase that price slightly. It's like the difference between getting Walmart made blue jeans with Levi's. Okay, in my day, Levi's were like the bomb. Is that still a saying? The bomb? So, you pay more for the name. Oh, Jordans. Here we go. Your little white canvas deck shoe compared to a Jordan. Does that sound about right? Thanks, Frank. Yes, about $1,000 a needle. Um, and that that still holds true with the Chinese made machines. Now, the next one up from that, in my opinion, in my thoughts, are the Korean made machines. And I don't know if you're aware, but Korean manufacturers are very, very precise and very um, detailed in the precision of their products. They take great pride in whatever they build. And again, of course, on this side of the world, we want to make sure that we have good customer service and good service techs and a machine that has a decent reputation. Um, for my world, remember, I don't do a lot of production, but I do test stitch my work. As a digitizer, I want to make sure that what I send you is going to stitch. Okay. So I use SWF machines. In fact, as you know, if you were here last week, and while we're here, remember last week the audio was absolutely monstrously terrible. I have done a take two and did a voiceover for those of you who want to check that out. But I have a brand new SWF, and it has all the new bells and whistles. And yes, I paid a little bit more for it. Of course, with COVID, shipping and transport, everything is a little bit more. Um, okay, in some cases, a lot bit more. But I'm very, very, very happy with the stitch quality, with the tensioning system, with everything about that machine. Now, don't get me wrong. The two SWFs that I had before this machine, I loved those too. I did. The stitch quality was good. Um, they ran well. Uh, they're full on commercial machines. I could run them 24 hours a day if I wanted. Of course, I don't have that kind of production, but it could happen. So, I guess one of the things I want to say is don't lump the Korean made machines in with the Chinese made machines. There's a little more care. Uh, okay, there's a lot more care. There's better quality parts. And again, in the States here, we have a really good tech team, a really good customer service support team for SWF. Now, so if the Chinese machines are here, I would put the SWFs about here, and the next one up would be the well, maybe about here, the Japanese machines. Japanese machines. For the home user, there is the Happy Japan. They, again, built in Japan, very good construction, very good machines. Um, the price point, oh, I forgot to mention that. The price point on the SWFs, between 11 and 22 for a single head. Oh, Cindy, you're absolutely right. If if your if your vendor will allow this, take one of your favorite designs, a design that you know works well, and run it on different machines to look at the stitch quality. Um, and I'll read what Cindy says specifically. People say take one of your favorite designs and test it on the machines you're looking at. Compare the stitch quality. Remember back a few minutes ago, I mentioned that I had to take a machine to Husqvarna for a repair. And while I was there, they showed me their machines, and the stitch quality was so much better that I was amazed by it and completely converted over from one brand to another. So the Japanese machines, the Happy Japan machine, they have a 7 needle and a 12 needle that are somewhat commercial um, in the sense of the work that they can do, but they're more marketed to the home user, the hobby user, the prosumer. Um, they also have, more needles. They have 15 needle machines. They have multi-head machines. Um, the nice thing about the Happy Japan is you can get a 7 needle machine with with the um, with the machine stand, and you don't have to have the machine stand. But if you get the machine stand, the 7 needle machine, the machine stand, um, the hat driver, and hoop, you can get that for all about $10,000. Yeah. Okay. So when you compare it to the Chinese machine at the same price, yes, you're going to get a few more needles at the Chinese machine, but you might get a better quality machine with the Japanese machine. It's just a consideration. Also from Japan, we have the Tajimas, which are really amazing machines. They're almost, well, they are one of the two industry standards um, in the big machine shops, the big production warehouses. You'll find Tajimas and you'll find Baradins. Now, Baradin gets, along with the quality of the machine, their claim to fame is hats. They can their system is so structured to do the curve on a hat that it it's just a superior hat machine. I gotta say though, because of that reputation, the other brands are are working at that. They want they want to be able to do this the same thing with hats. And I have to say again, going back to my new machine, no flagging, no flagging at all in the hats. Going to I don't have any in stock here, but I'm going to get a couple of Richardsons. We all know about Richardsons. Going to get a couple of Richardsons and run some tests, but I'm really happy with the way this machine runs with hats. But again, Baradin has the industry reputation for hats. And if that's going to be your primary income stream is hats, look at the Baradin. Okay. So with the Tajima, I can tell you that the price point that I was looking at, oh, Cindy is asking what flagging is. When your fabric is over the stitch plate, when your fabric is over the stitch plate and the needle goes down, it pushes the fabric down to the stitch plate. Now, with flats, you have some of that, but you don't see it. But with hats, you see it more because the hat is curved. It sits up higher from the stitch plate. So when the needle comes down, it goes down and then it pops back up. It goes down and it pops back up. That pop up can cause a shifting, or when it goes down, it can shift. All right, that is flagging. And we want to avoid that because, again, it causes registration errors, it causes a distortion in the stitch outs. And of course, this was an exaggeration, but we've all seen flagging. Um, but the machine manufacturers are looking to um, eliminate that flagging by using different techniques. Um, yes, the curve is still there, but they're lowering the driver to where it is instead of sitting up higher and you have to go in and lower it, it's coming in that lowered position. Excuse me a moment. Don't want to sneeze in your face. Here we go. so sorry. I didn't mean to run away. Okay. So the Baradin has that for it, but other machines are now picking that up. So, Baradin is not necessarily the end all be all. Again, look at the manufacturer, look at the quality of the parts that it was built with, look at your support team. Now, the last machine I want to talk about is the ZSK machine. Again, German engineering. Can't go wrong with German engineering. Sometimes I think they over-engineer, but here's the thing that ZSK's claim to fame. All right, in my opinion, and I guess I should preface all of this. This is all my opinion from my experience, from going to trade shows and talking to sales. Cindy's saying on her ZSK, they came back and added a heavier spring inside. It really helped. Lots of work to change out on every needle. Okay. Um, so the lifter springs, they replaced those to make them stronger for you. Again, German engineering. They are not going to be afraid of coming back and improving something. Going back to ZSK, a ZSK machine off the floor, if I remember correctly, is about $35,000. But it has the capability of upgrading the firmware. You can change out the controller panel if the controller changes. You can change out the controller panel. It has a lot of add-ons. You can do sequence and chording and oh, I saw a video not too long ago where they were actually laying LED light strips and embroidering LED light strips. Who does that? ZSK does that. If you're looking for a machine that takes you out of the standard production hats and shirts and jackets and going to a more precise, higher value niche, then look at the ZSK. And your 20-year-old machines are running awesome, aren't they? They are. You maintain them well, and they will run forever. Machines have, as long as the parts are being made, you have no problem with running a machine for 20 or 30 years. Some of the machines, some of the lower end budget machines are more disposable. But there are these machines are designed, commercial machines are designed to run for 20 years, 30 years. As long as the manufacturer is making parts for them, you can run them. I want to go back to the Happy Machine. One thing that I didn't mention was the control panel. The control panel on the 7-needle machine is just like the control panel on the 12-needle machine, which is just like the control panel on the 15-needle and the other commercial machines. The same control panel. So if you decide you're going to start here, and then a few years later, you're going to jump over to a different machine in that line, you don't have to relearn the control panel. Trust me. Relearning the control panel can be a bit tricky. I'm doing that myself now. Frank has a Sprint 5, which is a 2009 machine. So that's what? I'm gonna get this wrong. 2009. Is that a 19? So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. And it runs great. See, there are some machines that you can trust buying used. Just be prepared that if you buy a used machine, you may have to do some repair. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with regard to different machines. And again, let me again say this is all my own opinion. I want to thank all of you for being here. If you have any thoughts or any questions, if you have any comments you want to make regarding the machines you run and things that you might have done differently, don't hesitate to jot down a comment. I watch for them, I read them, I reply to them. I'm here to help. So, with that being said, I think, oh, Frank is saying that his Sprint 5 has the same controller as his Sprint 7. Nice. Thank you, Cindy. Cindy, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye now. Go end the show. We'll see you next week.
Wasn't that fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.